Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us back. Welcome back to another Sunday Funday. I'm your host, Joe Compton. I really appreciate you all tuning in and watching and participating and joining the conversation. And I hope you're enjoying what we do here. It means a lot to me. I noticed that some of you took an opportunity to catch up on some of the tag games and do a couple of them while we were on a sabbatical. I really appreciate that, but I appreciate any time you want to do these tag games to do them. Listen, there is no expiration date. There's no time limit. I have no expectation other than I'm going to put it out there. It's going to be on the playlist line there under Sunday Funday tag game. Grab whichever one you want. Go refresh your memory. Go watch a couple of them and grab those questions and then do the tag. It's open to everybody and anybody who wants to do them, and I would love to see more of them and see some new faces do them as well. I really appreciate anybody who takes the time to do questions. So with that in mind, I did take a little break. I am refreshed. I went up the coast a little bit, did some reading, did some writing, just relaxed a bit, and I'm really happy to be back and here with you guys. So with that in mind, our tag game is all about vacation. So here are 10 questions about vacation that we geared for the tag game. Number one fictional place you would like to go on a vacation to. Well, for me, it's been a lifelong dream to open a chocolate bar that I would never eat and see that golden ticket and head into Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. I've had dreams about it when I was growing up. Ever since I read the book, I have just had this idea in my mind that I wanted to go to this place and just see it. I'm not a big sweets guy. I don't like sweets at all. I like sour candy, so I'm sure there's a sour candy portion of the factory or whatever. I know that Willy Wonka makes some sour stuff, but I just think I would go for the ambiance. And then when you saw the movie with Gene Wilder, my imagination just kind of like was ramped up even more, and was given this platform to go, wow, that's exactly how I thought it would be. That movie is fantastically so poignant with them. Number two, one fictional couple or individual you would like have accompany you on a vacation. Well, for me, I would love to go on a vacation with the Griswolds. Specifically Clark and Alan, but if Audrey and Rusty went along, I wouldn't mind that. Obviously, the Griswolds seem to travel as a family and go on vacations as a family. So if they had to come along, I wouldn't be against that. But they always seem to get into some hijinks, and they're always in on an adventure, and they always have the coolest ideas to go on vacation. Amazing. And because the other thing is that Cousin Eddie will show up. He'll just randomly show up. He just comes in wherever and plants his flag, and there you go. And I think it would be cool to just have a beer with Cousin Eddie and listen to his philosophies. Just an awesome experience, I think, would be had if I went on a vacation with the Griswolds. Number three, one book you've been dying to read but need a vacation to get through. Now, I want to preface this real quick, because this is not a book that is a laboring book. It's not one that you find slow. It's not one that is huge, that you need a lot of time at. It's just an idea that this is a book that's been on your to-be-read list and you haven't had the opportunity to go and grab it and take care of it and read it and review it. And that's, for me, is Love by Jin Akubo. I've been really wanting to read this book. I've had so many books ahead of it before I met Jin. Jin's a good friend of mine. Jin is a major contributor to GoIndieNow. He is going to be hosting the next panel show, and also he has a Sunday Funday tag that he's going to unveil soon for us as well. And he deserves a review and a read from me, and I haven't had that opportunity to sit down with it, and I really want to absorb it. I'm learning that my reading style is that I need to really sit down and absorb books and just let them kind of invade my world. And I promise, I will read it and review it. I promise. It's just a matter of time for me, and there's no other excuse but not having the time to do so, and that's not really good. So it's just an interesting idea, and it's a cool concept for a romance. It's a different kind of romance. I can already tell you that. I've read a few pages of it. I've read the blurb, and I'm real excited to read it. And if anybody reads the blurb, I'm sure they will be as well. So definitely go check out Love by Janet Kubo. Number 4, my favorite movie about vacation. Well, since I already mentioned the Griswolds, and I won't go ahead and say the obvious Vacation or Christmas Vacation or European Vacation. I hope nobody says Vegas Vacation, because that one is just, no, not up the quality of the vacation movies. And then, I could also mention Summer Rental by John Candy, One Crazy Summer by John Cusack. Those are all great vacation movies. But for me, I'm going to mention one that is a little bit newer. It's called The Way, Way Back. It's a movie that came out about 3 years ago. 4 years ago now, 2013. And it has an all-star cast. Liam James is the lead character. He is Duncan. And it's got a cast of Toni Collette, Steve Carell, Allison Janney, Sam Rockwell, Maya Rudolph, Rob Corddry, Amanda Peet, and Nate Faxton is the man who wrote and co-directed this movie. And Nate, you would recognize Nate if you saw him. He's been in so many great stuff. But this movie is about a young man who is going on a vacation to a summer home of his soon-to-be stepfather, or I think he is actually a stepfather at this point. And he encounters this awesome water park run by Sam Rockwell, and it becomes his kind of getaway. And this whole movie centered around the relationships that all these folks have. It's a brilliant movie. It is fantastic. It is funny. It is touching. It is fast. It is exciting. There's just so many great moments in it, so many great appearances, so much great acting, and so much good writing. I can't say enough good things about it. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. So The Way, Way Back is definitely my recommendation for number 4. Number 5, one song on the road trip that you make sure your playlist plays no matter what. And my wife was wondering how this song came up when we were driving back, and it is Radar Love by Golden Year Love. Radar Love. It's great. It's the ultimate road song for me. I just love that beat, that little... It's so cool. And the drumming in it is great. Golden Earring. I got their album after I heard the song, and it's bad. But this song, I don't know if they were on another plane, if they were they just found all their potential in this one song, but it's an awesome song with a terrible discography behind it, and but it's great. It's the song. Another band very similar that's newer that both my wife and I like is Flagship by Harvey Danger, which appeared in a horror movie called The Faculty, if you remember. That's where it got its popularity from, but it was actually a song that had been being played on the radio a couple months prior, maybe even 6 months prior. And it's one of those one-hit wonders again. Harvey Danger, again, another band whose discography is pretty atrocious in my opinion, but this song just hits everything. It's perfect. It's fantastic. Both of those songs, I'm not going to even dare to... Paranoia, everybody's out to get me. Yeah, there you go. So I gave you a little flagpole sitta. But that's another song. Those two songs definitely are my playlist when we go somewhere on a long trip. So number 6 is the best podcast to download for a long road trip. And to me, it's Joe Rogan's Experience. If you've never listened to Joe Rogan, obviously a lot of people know him from News Radio and Fear Factor and being a comedian. And his stand-up's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. But his conversational skills and how interesting he is as a person are amazing. Actually, I have a friend from high school who was on one of the episodes. His name is Nick Curson. He keeps calling him Nick Curson through the whole thing. It's pretty funny that he does that. But Nick was great on the show. This is one of my favorite episodes. And because I know Nick, it was kind of still a bit enlightening and very interesting because Nick does something really cool with his company, and Joe is introspective. He's very funny. He's very real. And these conversations, there's one with Judd Apatow that's fantastic, and I just listened to one recently with the gal who her name is escaping me. Her grandfather was the founding member of the Westboro Baptist Church, and she eradicated herself from it. Melissa Phillips, I think is her name. But that's a great episode. He has some great scientists on there. He has, he has amazing comedians. He just had Jamie Foxx on, which was another good episode. But these conversations are so, they just cover so much ground. They're usually about 2 hours long, so you can get a lot out of them, and they'll last you a while on a long road trip. And they're very interesting, and I just find them fascinating, and that's. He's my favorite podcast because of that. I mean, the problem with podcasts to me is sometimes that they're some of them are an hour. Like Mark Maron's podcast is really good too. What the W, which yes does stand for what the fuck, but his podcast goes about an hour and a half, but most of them are like 30, 50 minutes, and on a long road trip, I just don't want to be flipping dials or trying to mess with my phone to try and get another podcast up. That's why Joe Rogan's is perfect, because it's usually like 2.5 hours. I can put a couple of them back to back and never have to move my phone. So mess with it, and you don't want to do that when you're driving. So those are perfect for me. That's a great podcast. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Number 7, one fictional character do you think needs a vacation badly? Well, for me, I went with Tyler Durden. I just think that the inventor of Fight Club could come up with some really inventive things if he had just a little bit of time to himself, a nice little vacation, a little sabbatical. He kind of took a vacation from reality, and it makes for an interesting read, but it doesn't help the person all that well. I'd be interested to see if he actually got a chance to reload himself and retool what he would come up with. So your favorite drink on a vacation? Do you got the little umbrella ones, or what do you like? My vacation drink is gin and tonic. I'll drink beer anytime, anywhere. So that's not really a vacation drink for me, although I still drink it. I had a few on our trip just recently. I didn't have any gin and tonics actually, which is kind of surprising for me. But when I'm on a vacation, it's usually because I'm going to a wedding, and that's when I have some gin and tonics. I can do a good portion of those. So that's the last few times I've been on vacations is weddings. So gin and tonics are very apropos for that. But I like a good gin and tonic, and they're very hard to get a very good one. So when I do find a very good one, I tend to overindulge a little bit. Just a little bit. Anyway, number 9. One movie that if the hotel offered it on pay-per-view, you wouldn't be able to say no to. And it's silly, but it wouldn't be like one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It wouldn't even be in my top 25. Those movies, I have a preservation for them, and I love them dearly, but it's more of a guilty pleasure thing for me, I think. And thus, I have TNT and TBS, and every weekend they're either playing Remember the Titans or Talladega Nights. I mean, like almost every weekend. So those two movies I always stop and watch. So that's the two movies I'm going to name here, because if I saw them on that list, I would stop and watch them. I just would. It's just something I do. It's kind of involuntary almost to a point. And I know it's weird, because they're not the two greatest movies of all time, but they are two really good movies in my opinion, and I really like them, so I'm going to watch them. That would be Parks and Rec. If it was on like every season, I would binge watch that as well. I do that now on Netflix, so that's our nighttime right before we go to sleep show. So, that's what I'm. The West Wing too. Anytime I have like lunch, where I take a break or from doing what I'm doing here, I'll go and watch The West Wing, an episode of The West Wing, because I love that show as well. But those are some of the ones I think of. Favorite vacation of all time is number 10, and that would be my wedding. It was amazing because it had like everybody who I love brought together and came together in one place. I missed a few people, but for the most part, I had a majority of the people that I really, really cherish in my life, who are super important, have been super important in my life, and they were there for me. Not to mention my two families that I have. It was just an amazing, amazing few days. And I took time off work to go and have this wedding, so I took a week off. We didn't go on a honeymoon because just circumstances didn't work out, and honestly, looking back on it, I think we did it right, and it was the perfect timing not to do that. I was just so exhausted after the wedding. I don't think I would have enjoyed a beach existence or some kind of other thing. Well, yeah, I would have, but anyway, it just didn't happen. But our wedding was spectacular. It was a lot of fun. A lot of great things happened. A lot of memorable, and it was just an amazing experience. And to do it with the people I love, that means the world to me. That's everything. So it was my favorite vacation of all time. And that was our vacation tag game. Tag in whoever wants to do this. I hope a lot of you want to come and join us and do this. Please do take it on, and I love to see them. And remember, it's always time to go indie now. We'll see you.